Good afternoon. I want to welcome everyone to our City of Little Rock Board Agenda meeting for setting the agenda for the September 3rd Board of Directors meeting. Welcome those that are also watching online and those who are here in the audience. Members of the City Board, are there any questions on the modifications to the agenda? I'll state them if you haven't had time to read. M1 is a resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Burkhalter Technologies in an amount to not exceed $91,000 for Valley Club repairs. M2 is to authorize city manager enter into a contract with Arkansas Public Safety Solutions in an amount not to exceed $2.1 million, plus applicable taxes and fees to replace, install security cameras in various city facilities and for other purposes. M3, to authorize city manager to enter into a contract with River City Hydraulics in the amount not to exceed basically 2.1 million plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of five battle refuse trucks for Public Works Department Solid Waste Division. Any questions before we go on to the consent agenda? Director Adcock?
Yes, these solid waste trucks, what division are they for?
Solid waste?
I know, garbage trucks?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Consent agenda, any questions on items 1 through 5? No questions on items 1 through 5. Any questions on, I know with item 6, we're going to hold separate. Madam Clerk, per Director Hines, to hold separate item 6. Any questions on 7 through 10?
Mayor, may I make a comment about number 6?
Yes, sir.
They're asking for a special use permit for a group home that is to serve 5 people. Under the law that governs this area, and under our ordinances, an ordinance, if it's 4 or less, is a family. They don't even need a permit. If it's 8 or under, and perhaps 7 or under, only as of a couple of months ago, it's presumed to be granted. So in order to not grant that, there needs to be a very strong objective reason. If not, the city will be walking into a Fair Housing Act violation.
Thank you for that, Mr. Attorney. Everyone, please reflect what the attorney has shared. Any questions on items 7 through 10? Oh, 1 second, Director Adcock. Let me press your name. Director Adcock?
Yes, item 8, I would like a presentation on that, and I would like it held separate.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Jordan?
Thank you, Mayor, board members. Number 8, Z9988. The owner of the .31 acre property located at the southwest corner of Chico Road and Mapleville Pike is requesting that the property be reclassified from R2 Single Family District to C3 General Commercial District. This is located in Ward 7. Staff recommended denial at Planning Commission. The Planning Commission disagreed with staff. They voted 9 yes, 0 no, and 2 absent to approve this. The way I understand it is this rezoning is for commercial vehicle parking.
How many vehicles are they planning on parking on that?
They did not indicate how many vehicles, but
That ground is very low there and everything. Are they doing any groundwork to add dirt to that, and what type of fencing?
They did not indicate that on their application.
And this is just for parking 18-wheelers?
Yes, ma'am, I do believe.
Okay,
Commercial vehicles, so I would think that that would fall into that.
that is actually the street into lots of housing. Meadowcliff is in their area. Also, the housing back there in Ponderosa is right next to that area.
Yes, ma'am. And that was some of the reasons that staff recommended denial of this rezoning.
But the planning commission passed it.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the vote in the planning commission?
Planning Commission voted 9 yes, 0 no, and 2 were absent.
Okay, I'd like this held separate, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Director Wyrick?
Brad, weren't they doing this because they had gotten a citation from code enforcement in regards to parking trucks at a residential area, or do you know the answer to that?
I do not know the answer to that, but we do have a lot of that in that area.
I
So
think that's what I remember
yeah.
from the planning commission, that they were doing it because they got citations, because they had a lot of trucks there. And so this was the answer to take care of their trucks.
And there is a C3 property directly to the west of this.
Well, maybe it was another one. Okay, that was not my question. On items 9 and 10, I would like to have those separate, Mayor. I believe we're going to have some folks to come and address those two issues. I've got a brief report of a meeting that was held with the neighborhood last night, if y'all would like to hear it, or I can save it till next week.
Let's, based on, transition to hosting it next week.
Okay. All right. That's it.
Thank you so
Both of
much.
those separate.
Member City Board, any questions on item number 11? And in the effort of efficiency for next week, seeing that there weren't any questions on the modified items 1, 2, and 3, would you all be permissible for us just to add that to the consent agenda for next Tuesday? I know we can't take a vote. Can I get, is that a yes from Director Peck, a yes from Director Capurus, or yes from Director Wyrick? Director Adcock, is that a yes? Yes. Yes. Director Phillips?
I'm okay with it, Mayor.
You just couldn't say yes. Is that a yes from Director Miller? A yes from Director Lewis? All right, well, Madam Clerk, if you will add items M1 through 3 to the consent agenda, reflect that later on this evening for the website, so no longer have those modifications. They'll just be added to the consent agenda. Keep our meeting flowing. Seeing no other questions, so I can beat the record. Oh, come on, I've got to beat a record. All right.
September 14th at Murray Park at 10 o'clock. Keep Little Rock Beautiful, the Sustainability Commission. We're going to have a kickoff for our big litter program. And I hope to see you there, Mayor, and as many of the directors as can make it. And only one other thing, I want to give a huge thanks and shout out to Kevin Howard and Brian Contino and the whole team. I've had a lot of issues lately, and they have been so incredibly good and fast and responsive. So thank you.
And Director Peck, thank you for your leadership on all things litter here and around the city, as well as within the highway throughway. So thank you so much for your leadership. Mr. Attorney, I think you shared with me earlier that the record for agenda meeting was 4:19. It is 4:09.